Hi there, Ben here from Ben's Paper Puppets. Now, a few months ago I made a video where I made this Jeffy puppet, full-size Jeffy puppet, out of about 13 sheets of paper. And quite a lot of you watched the video, and a number of you also downloaded the free template to give it a go yourself. And I hope that it went really well, but probably some of you discovered that it's actually quite time-consuming and fiddly to make, because it is. So recently I was thinking, is there a way to make a simpler version that maybe more people would be able to make? And well, this is the result. This is my mini Jeffy puppet. He's made out of 2 sheets of paper. So that and that, and everything you need to make this puppet is made out of paper. It's all on the template, so the pencil, the nose, the eyes, all made out of paper. So once you've cut everything out, it's all there. And actually, once you've cut it out and once you've scored the fold lines, it's going to take less than an hour to all glue together and make. So much more manageable. So yeah, I'm going to show you how to do it. If you like this video, find it useful, please do give me a thumbs up. That would be really helpful. But otherwise, let's get into it. This is how to make your very own mini Jeffy hand puppet. So as mentioned, we're working with just 2 sheets of paper here, and the first thing we want to do is cut the pieces out and pre-score all the folded lines, which is going to make it much easier to fold and glue. And here I'm showing you all the main folding from the head section so that you can see whether the folds are towards you or away from you. The lines on the template will tell you that as well, of course, but hopefully by me showing all the folds here, you'll get a clear sense of how the whole piece is going to come together. And to be honest, 95% of the effort is going to go into constructing the head, as the body is completely two-dimensional. This head is mostly based on the head I did for the larger puppet, but in this case it's all a single piece of paper, whereas the other puppet I split over 2 sheets of paper. So the first thing we're going to add on is the eyelids. There's a couple of line marks that show you where to put them, and they just glue there. And then we're going to do the paper eyes, and to give them a bit of three-dimensionality, we're going to cut them and glue them into a rough, shallow cone shape. The little tab at the bottom there gets glued, and then it's folded over and it sticks to the face below the eyelid, and it'll sort of sit up until we fully glue the eyelids down in a moment. You'll notice that the pupils are slightly differently placed to give him that sort of cross-eyed look. Again, the second eye is glued into place with that tiny little white tab, and then both eyes are held in place by the eyelids, which we're just going to glue and fold over there. Next up, we've got the nose, which is constructed via a couple of parts, and the first bit here is just a strip of paper that's folded around and glued into a cylinder. And then we'll construct the pencil, which again is rolled into a cylinder, and my usual rule applies here, that once you've put the 2 pieces of glued paper together, you have to hold them there for much longer than I'm showing in order for the 2 pieces of paper to bond together. And that's the case for the gluing for all of the sections of this puppet. The top section is just folded over, and those little tabs are actually best folded down the outside rather than trying to fold them onto the inside of the cylinder, which you can see me trying to do here. And then there's 2 tabs at the end glued to the tabs at the edges of the nose, and we'll stick it in there. And then we're going to glue them and then place it there in the centre of the face on a marker that you'll see just below the eyes. And then the top of the nose, a bit like the eyes, is a circle that's cut, folded and glued into a shallow cone shape. We glue the inside of that, and then that's just going to glue onto the top of those upper tabs on the other section. For the ears, we're going to glue these 2 pieces together and then fold at this line here, and then fold over again. So it's going to go through a slit in the side of the face that's going to glue down on the back once it fits in. Then we hold it in place until it fixes, and then we'll pop the other ear in as well. And as you'll appreciate, it's much easier to add all of these face features on this stage than to try and do them after you've started to fold the face into the 3D shape. So onto the main folding, which starts with this little tab here, which we push down, and it's going to glue behind that white section that you can see. And then the other tab on the other side is going to glue back onto the back of the red mouth section. Then we're going to glue this white section to the back of the red mouth section. However, on the top half we're only going to glue half of it so that this little flap is going to be left without any glue on it. So the glue section fits in neatly behind the red section to strengthen the mouth, and you can see there that the tab that we talked about is going to be left free, and eventually it's going to help us to grip the top part of the mouth between our fingers to help open and close the mouth while operating the puppet. Then it's on to gluing the front and the back of these little side sections here. And that's going to allow these flaps just to close in on each other, and then the back section is going to glue to the side on the inside of the cheek. It's the same on both sides, and we just really need to hold those in place for a couple of minutes, because otherwise they're going to keep popping open until the glue sets. Next we're gluing these tabs on the bottom lip at the front and side to join them together, but also we want to glue underneath the top tab at the back so that we can glue the very front flat to allow us to trim the front section to make the lip more rounded. So that's why I'm pushing down there, and that's why we have that extra bit of glue. And then these side sections are going to be glued. And then on the inside, these little tabs as well, and they should glue together and line up quite nicely. Then we're just going to crimp fold these sections, and that's going to allow the mouth to open and close. And then, as I say, we're going to trim the front off here to give him a more rounded lip, and because we've glued underneath there, that's not going to open up. And then these top sections here are just going to be glued and then folded into place to give the forehead its three-dimensionality. And these visible lines will mostly be covered by the helmet shortly. So that's the head complete. As I say, we're now going to add the helmet. And this just glues in 4 places to give it the shape that it needs. And then we're going to glue the inside, front and sides of the helmet, and then glue it into place just above the eyebrow. And that's the puppet head finished. In terms of working the puppet, as you see here, you grip that flap of paper between your 2 fingers, and that allows the leverage to open and close the mouth with your thumb. The body is straightforward, it's just cutting the body out, and then we're going to glue the top of the body onto the neck of the head. And that's it, a simple mini Jeffy hand puppet made out of 2 sheets of paper. So there you have it. I hope that was useful. And of course, if you've enjoyed making this one and you fancy a bigger challenge, you can always go back to my original video and give the full-size puppet a go. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Want to see my pencil?